68th episode of CloudFocus Weekly for the second week of November 2011. This episode is titled First Contact, Socially. CloudFocus Weekly is sponsored by Arkus, your cognitive media experts, and I'm your host, Jason Atwood. Joining me today for the 68th time is co-host Justin Edelstein. Justin, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I was just clearing my throat with a little sip of green tea.
We both have hot beverages.
We do. I went for green tea. What'd you go for?
I always go for the lemon tea.
Lemon herbal?
With a little Splenda in it. It tastes lovely.
Oh, I've been switching it up. I've been doing English breakfast in the morning and green in the afternoon.
Welcome to Tea Weekly.
Yeah.
All right, we got an agenda today. We got a new blog post on the blog. We'll talk about that. Talking about the iPhone 4S and whether it's worth the upgrade. Found a last-minute article, just thought it was too funny, had to throw it in there. 8 things The Simpsons can teach you about cloud computing off of Read Write Web, which I thought was funny. And then we got a CloudForce coming up, and then we'll talk about a new release from Salesforce, Social Contacts, and our sort of off-the-cuff remarks, and some winners, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the poor souls who got taken out because of it. And then we'll finish up, of course, with our CloudFocus App Pick of the Week to keep everybody waiting for that. Justin has written his down. I have not, but I will in a moment or two. So let's start off with the blog post. So the one who should never be named, who's probably been named pretty well at this point.
Ding! There he is.
That's the ding. Larry has written a blog post entitled iPhone 4S, Apple iPhone 4S review, worth the upgrade? Question mark?
And he is allowed to ask that question and answer it because he has one.
He's the only one.
He's the only Arkus employee with an iPhone 4S because we are waiting for another, I actually have it on my calendar, 8 days.
Not 18th, I think it's a 20-something.
No, I have it on my calendar. I put it on there as soon as I knew that we were sort of waiting. I threw it on there. It's, oh, you're right. Hold on. When is it?
25th,
when is it? It's on my calendar.
Yeah.
Here.
Why don't you check your calendar?
25th. We're
Welcome
waiting till
to
the 25th.
What's on Justin's calendar?
We're waiting till the
Weekly.
25th. Anyway, Larry was
I think that's
able...
what I say.
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
Anyway, Larry was able to write this upgrade because he has... Or write this blog post because he has the 4S, has been playing with it for... since the day it came out.
One would say that he's actually had it and been working with it, but you could say playing. I mean, maybe
playing is more the right word.
Right.
If anyone knows Larry, so he wrote, why upgrade, why to do it, and I think he actually came out with the conclusion that other than the camera and from his perspective the battery life, there's not much more to brag about.
Really,
which to me is a super jab at Siri. Because if you're going to say, why upgrade to the iPhone 4S from any other device, let alone from the 4 or the 3G or whatever, wouldn't you say Siri would just pop to your mind like, there's the reason?
Right.
Because that's what all the commercials are telling me.
The commercials are telling me I need to buy it because of Siri.
Well, it looks so great on the commercials.
So
I've played with it a few times.
My wife has the 4S.
Yeah.
So I have been playing with Siri in our household when my wife's not looking. Siri and I...
That sounds awful.
It does. Siri, never mind. Not going to go there. This podcast is not explicit. And Siri is definitely very cool. It definitely, just like, I'll make a bad analogy, but just like search in admin screens in Salesforce, admin search, it kind of takes you a while to kind of think about using it, as opposed to, I'm just going to go in and do things. But it works, and it works pretty well, and it's pretty cool.
Does it, though?
Yeah.
Because I've played with it a few times. My sister has a 4S, and my girlfriend's mother has a 4S, and I've played with it on both of their phones, and maybe Siri and I just don't know each other on that phone, because she's misunderstood some things that I've asked her to do. And, I'm in anticipation of getting this thing in 15 days. Although after reading this blog post, I feel as if I'm not sure I need it. Although I want it, so I'm getting it. I've been thinking about how am I going to use Siri, because that to me is the killer app, right? It's not the camera. I don't care that the camera is 8 megapixel or HD video. I don't care. You're looking at me like you're gonna care.
You're gonna
I
care.
don't.
You're
I
gonna
don't.
care.
I don't take that many pictures or videos or anything. I don't care.
Okay, here's one thing you're going to care about. Speed.
Speed, I'll care.
It
yeah.
feels-
If I want to take a
I
picture,
was-
I want it to happen faster.
No. Everything. I was surfing this morning. I was looking up something on her phone, and I was just doing regular surfing on Safari, and I was like, oh, wait, that is responsive. So
I'm going to take us down a rat hole.
all right.
With
Rat
the responsiveness
hole.
of the browser. The new Facebook mobile app,
Yes.
the upgraded version that
Yes.
has the little bug in it for the messages
Yeah,
thing.
still
Buggy, fine.
bug just doesn't work.
Just doesn't work. Yeah,
Plain out
error.
broken.
I have noticed, though, their browser embedded inside of that app is so fast. It's faster than Safari. Don't know how that's possible, because I have to imagine it's using Safari under there in the engine somehow. But if you're in Facebook mobile and someone has liked a link to something and you click that,
Like, let's say they like to link to CloudFocus Weekly.
like this podcast right here,
Right.
they go to arkusinc.com, they go to the podcast section, they like this one. Great. You click it on
Arkus
your
brag.
Arkus brag. You click on that link, it is snappy, boy. It gets you there real fast, and then you click on another link in that page, and it is fast.
Possible, don't know, but possible that Facebook is doing some sort of caching because other people clicked on it and it's caching it for you.
Maybe, but
Possible.
it is snappy. Try that later. Try that at home, listeners.
Yes.
Because trust me, it is blazing fast. It's faster than Safari.
Right.
It moves.
All right.
Anyway, so
Go to-
those are some of the reasons to upgrade. I think he wrote some things about what fell short. You can infer from why he said you should upgrade. The things that fell short would be Siri and iCloud.
Right. But iCloud isn't an iPhone 4S
iCloud
thing,
is not
it?
really a 4S thing. It's more of an Apple OS thing.
I think this is sort of two camps on this. If you have an iPhone 4, unless you are a photo guy, unless you just want to get the latest thing, that put us in that camp.
That would be us.
I don't know. I don't think you would upgrade from a 4.
I just want a white one.
But anybody else, if you're a 3GS, whatever, you're upgrading because it's a significant over a 3G.
Oh yeah.
So I just think from 4, I've thought about it too. I thought, well, why do I really? But then, part of it is new device, faster, better. The video, I've seen the videos taken on this thing. They're unbelievable. They're really, really, I mean, they're 1080p. They're unbelievable. So just for that, it's like a new phone. I always say, like, I don't use the phone I don't use a camera anymore. Why not just upgrade it? It's a $200 camera. Fine. And I get a free phone.
And an iPad. Or an iPod.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we'll see. Anyway, next up.
I'm going to get the white one.
Okay.
That's my reason. Because when I got the 4, they said that they were going to have white ones, and they didn't have them. So I'm just going to get the white one.
There you go. You and my
And
wife
when
will
the
have the
5
same color.
So
iPhone.
what?
Just
Me
saying.
and your wife have a lot in common.
Just saying.
We both put up with you. Ooh.
Wow.
Dig.
All right. blog.arkusinc.com. You can read the rest of that blog post. And comment on it. Remember, we have discussed now, so click on the title and then comment on it. We've been getting more comments, and we've been getting more spam, which I've been deleting by discuss. So
With
thank you very much.
comments come spam.
Yes.
Excellent.
So next up is...
Excellent.
Oh, great,
good
Sagui. The next thing up is the 8 things, this is on Read Write Web, the 8 things that Simpsons can teach you about cloud computing.
I was just reading through this. You can take this one away.
I only have to bring this up because I saw it. I then put it into the Google Wave on our agenda, talking about we should talk about it, and then I read it, and I was like, wow, it's really a bad article.
Yeah.
It's a great, great title. It's really not a very good article.
No, it's not. It's silly. It's like, how can let's throw some link bait out there with some titles, and how can I get people to click on my article about cloud computing? Let me put a picture of Homer and try and equate it to The Simpsons.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
it
really
has
work.
things
I'm actually
like
upset that we're talking about
this. Be like Bart, under promise over deliver. Okay, great. Test and test again. But almost all of these things you could have just said for project management or for IT.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to piss someone off in Power. Find
Just
the
like
Joe
Springfield,
moment.
the cloud could be anywhere.
No.
Oh, okay.
Not every cloud service has the same color. Not every computer has the same color. Not every... you can put anything in here. So don't read this article.
Sorry,
But
we're
we've
even
already
mentioning
mentioned it.
it.
All right, we'll
that was
move
a
on.
Fail.
Total fail. Well, you know what won't be a fail?
What?
CloudForce New York.
Hope not.
So this year, it actually, well, I guess it's already been a fail since they had to reschedule it.
Well, they had to move it.
Right.
I feel like that was originally, I think at Dreamforce they said it was going to be in October at Madison Square Garden, and it's now in November at the Jacob Javits.
Right.
And I don't know when they said it's going to be at the Garden, what they meant by the Garden. Was it going to be on the floor at the Garden? Was it going to be in the theater at the Garden? Because for those of us here in New York, the Garden has a couple sections to it. There's obviously Madison Square Garden, the 18,000 or so seat arena where the Knicks and the Rangers play.
Right.
But there's also, I think it's now called the Paramount Theater within the Garden. That is a smaller theater. I don't know where this was actually going to be at Madison Square Garden. Anyway, it's where it was last year.
You know where it's going to be at Madison? It's not going to be there.
It's going to be where it was last year.
Yep.
At the Jacob Javits Center on the far west side of Manhattan. Not the easiest place in the world to get to, but we can walk it.
Couple walk.
And
last year was the coldest day ever.
Yeah.
And we actually had breakfast with Mr. Tom Wong.
That's right. We got there super early.
Yeah. And we were kind of sitting there with him like, how can you be just sitting here doing breakfast when like this big event's going on?
Well, I don't think he was running it.
I know, and that was the whole point. I was sitting there the whole time like, man, you can just sit here with us and chat about nothing when this whole event that you're supposed to be running. And then we got there and he was still wondering. I'm like, you're not running this, are you? He's like, no, my thing's the Dreamforce thing. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
I kind of assumed you were sort of king of all things conference.
No,
apparently not.
Well, Dreamforce is big enough. It's kind of a full-time gig.
It is, and it now has another full-time person.
Right.
So if you're a first-time CloudForce New York person, you've never been to Dreamforce, you've never been to CloudForce New York, or any of the CloudForce Boston, or any of those CloudForce London, what could you expect going to this?
CloudForce Alabama.
It's one of my favorites.
It is.
Let's see if we can offend some Alabamians.
I can offend lots of people. If you've never been to Dreamforce at all, and this is your first CloudForce, then it's probably different than if you've been to a Dreamforce and you've never been to a CloudForce. Let me start with you've been to a Dreamforce but never been to a CloudForce. If you've been to Dreamforce, think of CloudForce as Dreamforce scrunched into one day.
Right.
You have one keynote, which is basically the same keynote you've already seen.
Right. Hopefully some updated stuff, but okay.
Yeah, probably not.
Hey, we've launched social contacts.
Maybe, yeah. But essentially it's a mix of the two keynotes that Mark Benioff gives into one.
Right.
With breakout sessions.
Right.
Just a smaller number of them, not as many tracks or as many actual sessions, and a smaller expo floor.
Right.
So, if you've never been to Dreamforce, then you're going to expect kind of a great thing, because you go to the keynote, it's great. Right? For those who've been to Dreamforce, obviously you've sort of seen it, but not. It's pretty great. Right. There's an expo floor again where there's somewhere last year there were like 30 or so booths on the expo floor.
Yeah, something like that.
There's a happy hour towards the end of the evening.
Yep.
Towards the end of the show, you have some drinks and some finger foods.
Yep.
Again, the breakout sessions, which I did not have a chance to go to any of them last year. I very rarely go to a breakout session at a CloudForce. For me, it's more about networking and just walking around the expo floor, seeing some new products.
Talking to all your fans.
Talking to my fans.
Signing autographs.
That was the greatest. Last year, personal story. Personal brag. I was standing on the expo floor. Someone walked up to me and said, "You're Justin." And I said, "I know." And he said, "You're Justin from the podcast." And I said, "Wow." That was like the first time that's ever happened to me. I'm sure it's never happened to you.
Oh, it's happened.
For the podcast?
No, from like being arrested.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, no.
It was pretty humbling. It felt good.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, I'm famous.
You are famous.
I'm famous. This right here, this face, this is my profile face right here.
Yeah.
And it's it was pretty awesome.
It was what you do. All right, so yeah, I agree. It's a very shortened thing.
Yeah.
If you haven't been to any of them and you're in New York, you gotta go. It's worth the day.
It's free.
It's free. You think you even get lunch for free.
Yeah, and drinks at the end.
Yeah, so I mean, if nothing else,
go after work. Go at like 5.
You go at 5, show up and get some drinks. No, it's fun. And you get to talk.
It's a good day.
Yeah, especially the keynote. The keynote, again, if you haven't seen the other keynotes, it's great. If you have seen the keynote, sometimes it's a nice reminder. Sometimes they do something different. It depends how far it is from Dreamforce.
This
I'm
year,
guessing not much.
It's been only about 2 months since Dreamforce. It'll be 3 months at the time. It's This is on November 30th, by the way. It's about 3 months apart, right? October, November? Yeah, 3 months.
Yeah.
And the Winter 12 did launch.
Right.
It'll have a full launch cycle by the time that
The-
I say the actual whole release will
The
have
new
been released.
extended launching.
Maybe they'll have some news on Touch that
Yep.
some more details about Touch.
My guess is that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
They'll do all the stuff we just released. Then they'll talk about Touch, and they'll probably give a date for it.
They might give a date or a beta pilot date or something along those lines.
Whatever.
We might see some of the newer products that are being launched sort of outside of the Salesforce brand, like Do.com, which recently got some beta invites thrown out there. I'm almost positive we'll see Seismic or someone like that up on stage as well, showing off their third-party apps. And since we're here in New York, there might be more of a focus on like financial services, perhaps, or like an industry focus type of track that they put together.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so go there. November 30th, Jacob Javits Center.
Register online. Use
Facebook.
the Google.
Use the Google to find it. I'm sure if you went to Salesforce.com, it's somewhere.
Or their Facebook page or
it's
something.
Great. So last up is sort of talking about releases. The social contacts have finally been released.
They have. Yes,
so
they
they
have.
are out there for people. They should be in yours. You have to turn them on, as
They
it were.
do.
And once you do that, you have what you saw, or some of what you saw in the keynote this year, which is that you have 3 links on the top. You have
which is configurable.
you can configure.
That's up to you.
See, I didn't turn it on.
I turned it on. So
Okay.
as an administrator, you can say, I want to turn on LinkedIn, I want to turn on Twitter, I want to turn on Facebook when you turn on social contacts.
Okay.
It's also a personal preference. So if you're a Salesforce user and your administrator has turned on social contacts, you'll notice that when you go into your setup, on the left side under personal setup, there's a new area underneath my chatter settings called my social contacts. And you can go into the settings there and essentially for yourself turn it off.
Right.
Or say which of the 3 social networks that are being utilized you would like to see on a contact page. We turned them all on and started connecting people. I'm looking at your contact record in our org.
Are you?
Because we have ourselves in there as contacts.
Yep.
Just to have ourselves in there.
So give me the good.
All right. So just throwing the caveat out there that my blog post for next week will be on this topic.
Blog brag.
So I feel like the Twitter is great. The Twitter is the best of the 3. So the LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook.
Yep.
Twitter's the best. Because the reason why is because it brings back the most information. It brings back your actual Twitter feed. How many followers, how many people you're following, your bio, your picture, the whole 9, right? And actually lets you, from within the interface, it gives you links to things. Like, I can click the reply link. While it bounces me out to Twitter,
right.
I can actually take some action.
Right.
Which is, I know we're in the like section, but it's
one of the... Stay in the like section.
Well, remember what I just said for when we get to the dislike section.
Okay.
I love the picture.
Picture's
nice. Great, right? It puts a face to a blank contact record inside of Salesforce. So, once you connect the profile to the actual contact, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn, you can choose to use that picture on the top, and it shows up much like what Chatter looks like. Picture, big name.
Right.
I like the picture, and I like the fact that it's just there's more data to look at, so I can look at more things about a person.
Right.
I can see, particularly in Twitter, their Twitter interactions.
Yep.
So those are my likes. What do you like?
I'm gonna go for my dislikes. You went for all the likes.
Oh, that's so unfair.
So unfair.
That was unfair.
Welcome to the CloudFocus Weekly.
Well, if you miss one,
all right,
I will.
So I agree. All those things are great. Dislikes. First thing I don't like is that it seems to not cache what you on. If you go off a record and come back to a record, every time you come back, it seems to have to go get that thing again. It gets their picture again. So you almost strangely you have to wait to see the picture show up.
I think that's okay.
I don't think that's okay. Not nowadays. Cache it for 24 hours. I just went back and forth to 2 records. It literally had to wait another 2 seconds to bring back a picture. I don't know why. There's no reason for that. That's one. 2, let's go to Facebook first, because the third one's going to be the big one. The Facebook one is okay. You get a minimal amount of information.
I don't think it's okay at all.
You think it's crappy?
Yeah.
Do you think it's the worst of the 3?
No.
Not even close.
No,
Okay.
I just don't think that there's enough. I am friends with you on Facebook.
Right.
To my knowledge, there's no
anymore.
Restrictions really between what I can see in your feeds and not. Maybe there is, but whatever.
I have you banned.
Fine.
Yep.
But when I go into Facebook, I see stuff that you post.
Right.
And I'm in groups with you.
Right.
And I'm engaged with you in face. I'm not engaged.
Yeah, really.
Not in the engaged field, but we
Are we in
engage in
Alabama?
Conversations. Good one. We engage in conversations on Facebook that I don't see here.
You see nothing.
I see nothing.
You
I
see
see
a
your
pic-
work history, which is what the LinkedIn one should be for.
Right.
I see the about. That's great. And I see your website and your birthday
Right.
and how many friends you have. But
Right.
really, I want to see your news feed. I want to see things that we actually see when I log into Facebook and I look at you.
Also, it doesn't really work that well. So,
No,
for
it
instance,
doesn't.
I just went to your record and went to Facebook link. Someone obviously doesn't love you enough to do your record. It didn't find you.
That's a little weird.
How is me, when I only have 204 friends on Facebook, and there's only one named Justin Elstein, when I search Facebook
Yeah.
using your name,
We're friends.
Shouldn't that be the number one thing that
It
pops
should
up?
be the only thing that pops up
But yet
because
it's
we're
giving
friends.
me it's giving me 3 other Justin Elsteins and not yours, and one of them is Justin Blue Noblestone. So doesn't that just seem wrong?
Seems broken.
It should immediately find you, if not find you and say, "Is this it?" and then others. There's only 1-to-1 relationship. There's one me. I'm searching as you. So that's bad. And you're right. The information it gives. Now let's go on to the real loser of the group.
Yeah, this is the clown.
This
This is
is
the one that.
This is the one almost worth turning off.
Well, it is worth turning off. There's no reason to have it on. The only reason you have this on is for the picture.
It's for the
and
picture.
Their current title.
Yeah.
Great.
So I'll tell you the one thing I liked about the LinkedIn thing. I like that it puts the little in icon on the picture. I like that.
Why do you like that?
Well, because when you're looking at the thing, you know that's the picture from LinkedIn versus the picture from Twitter.
Okay.
It's nice.
Fair enough.
Oh, wait, I want one nice thing.
Facebook pictures are liable to be more personal than a
Right, but I'm
LinkedIn
saying if I'm
picture,
looking at your
right?
Facebook one, if I choose that to be your picture, I don't know that that's your picture from Facebook. This way I actually know it's the one from LinkedIn. Nice little feature. It's a
Great.
LinkedIn thing.
Good.
Other than that, it sucks.
Well, if you want to see more information, you can click the big button
Yeah.
that says something about having to pay $29.95 per
Right.
user per month as an introductory price.
So let's talk about this. First of all, it does without paying for the free version gives you their name, their title, and where they live. Even if you're linked in with that person.
Right.
That's it.
That's all.
Nothing else.
Nope.
Not work information, not history, not tweets, not all the millions of things that are on there. That's the only thing.
Right.
That is so basic and so little, it's literally almost not worth it. Secondly, then they want you to pay for this thing. That gives you
A lot.
Yeah. They want
Not
you
a little,
They
a
want you
lot.
to pay a lot for this other thing. It's called LinkedIn for Salesforce.
Right.
And it's $30 per user per month.
Right.
Which at some point is what percentage of a license? That's 30-something% of a enterprise license or whatever, 20-something percent. That's way too much for a
Way too much.
connection.
That's just the introductory price.
Right. The regular,
After the free trial, the regular monthly price is $40 a month.
Yeah, it is absolutely a thing. And then here's the third and most painful piece of this LinkedIn, and this is a shame on you, LinkedIn and Salesforce, for doing this, is that you then go and shut down Red Kite's free LinkedIn one that actually
Friends of Arkus.
that does a ton, is actually a plugin. It did a Visual Force thing, free, would pull in all sorts of
Brought
other
in
information.
way more information than this one.
Right. And then you shut that one down. Red Kite just sent out the email 2 days ago or 3 days ago saying
Yep,
they
I
have
got
to turn
it.
it off, and basically they can no longer
It
do
was a pick of ours.
Yeah, I'm sure
It was a pick of ours because we have installed it for customers because it was free and it did exactly what they wanted it to do.
So fail in many events. Fail that it's a bad product. Fail that you're then charging for it. And then fail that you're then killing off a better product that was free and that people were using. Not so much for me because I don't use it, but for people who were using it, they now are they're getting less information. They went from having something that worked and worked well for free now to something that doesn't work well, and not free.
Because someone wants to sell something for $30.
And I think this is something that Salesforce should really consider not doing ever again. You don't kill off a free thing. It's like one thing, here we'll make an example. So Conga Composer and Quotes, right? So Conga came out with their ability to create PDFs out of Salesforce. Then Salesforce went and built in Visualforce the ability to create PDFs, which was after Conga Composer, and then they went and built it into Quotes, where you can create the quote PDF. But they didn't then just say, you know what? Conga Composer can't work on opportunities anymore. They could have, right? And said, this company cannot no longer work and do the thing that we did before. Now, again, it's Salesforce within Salesforce versus Salesforce within an external party. And I'm sure that this wasn't Salesforce's way of doing it. And I'm sure that Red Kite had an agreement with LinkedIn, and LinkedIn just said, listen, now we got this other product. We're not going to let you do this anymore. But still, it stinks. And again, the replacement isn't even a minuscule amount of close to what it was. If it gave you some or more information for free,
like work history or something,
anything.
Give me the timeline,
phone number. Give me something off that
email.
Profile. And the joke is, when you're on it, you can't even get to their profile from there.
No, there's no link.
You can't even get from the picture of the person to the LinkedIn profile. How much of a fail is that? Like, what's the point then?
Wow, anyway, you're angry.
Yeah, I'm angry.
Well, while we're on the dislikes,
yeah, go for it.
I had one more that was not brought up. That I'm writing about this next week, but I feel like this is a easier forum to talk freely about it. Why not on leads? Why not?
Hadn't even thought about that.
Why not? Why don't I have this on leads? Leads are people.
Leads can be people too.
Well, they are people. They have names, first name, last name. They need that. So why would I? I have one more gripe after this. But why is it social contact and not social lead? Isn't lead just as important or more?
Right.
Close the deal. Know the info. Close the deal.
Right.
I feel like the if you watch the video for the LinkedIn and Salesforce product, it's all about leads.
Right, it's about leads.
It's all about leads. There's no Salesforce social leads, it's social contacts.
Right.
So that was one gripe. I really thought it belonged there. The second gripe is and this is more a, I know this is V1, and this is more of a, in my blog post will be structured a where I want this to go.
Right.
I want more. Oh, no. I like it. I want more actionable data. I want to be able to, from the platform, do the things that the Salesforce for Social App Exchange app, the one where they show on stage when you'll be at CloudForce and you'll see the demo of the social help desk, where you're replying to tweets, you're answering things within the social networks where the people are talking to you.
Yes, sir. They
fudge that a little.
Yep.
They blur the line. There's Salesforce Social Contacts, which display data.
Right.
And there's a it's not third party because Salesforce built it, but it really is because it's not on the platform.
Right.
You have to install it from the App Exchange and go through a process of actually setting it up where you can actually interact with the contacts.
And they're not connected.
And they're not connected in the slightest bit.
We talked about
they're totally disconnected.
Could you write a trigger or something to take the data? Basically, it's for Twitter, but could you take the Twitter? If you found the Twitter on the social contact, could you move it down? And if you did, could you move it up?
I haven't done the
I know, but
the research. But the idea is now I've got these two apps inside of Salesforce that do half of what each thing should be able to do.
Right.
Because one of them has to go out and find the username, and the other one needs to do the same exact thing. One of them displays stuff. The other one is for replying to things. So, they do half of each other's job. I wish they'd come together. And that's where I want this to go. And I feel like it will in time. This was a V1. It'll get better. I just feel like it's a little bit of a
I have to do this again. I'd say one more fail on the Facebook side.
We always do fails.
I can't even find you.
Yeah, I know. That's a fail.
I can't. There's no find more. There's no show me more. There's nothing.
And the fact that we're friends and you're not friends with those other people is a bit of a fail.
I keep clicking on search and it keeps finding the same 4 people: Justin Edelstein, and Justin Blue Noblestone.
No, that's
Why
not
is
me.
Justin Blue Noblestone showing up? But the friend,
That's not me.
the guy I kind of like, who is a friend of me on Facebook, is not showing up. It's such a fail.
It's a little weird. You know, I'm going to go to my contact and see what happens when I try and find...
Oh, when you're in your own contact and it knows you, it should even say that it knows you.
It doesn't find me.
It doesn't. You can't find you.
I can't find me.
And you're signed in as you.
I'm signed in as me on Facebook.
But you can't find you.
No, what if I type in, like, my Facebook username? They didn't find that either. No, that's weird. I don't know why it can't find my...
I honestly
don't know why it's doing that.
I think that this is enough to say that I personally don't think it's valuable. I don't think it's valuable. I don't think it adds enough to turn on. The Facebook and the Twitter are just useless, and the Twitter is okay, but since it's not even integrated in any of the other stuff, it's like, it's so flashy, so Dreamforce-esque. Ooh, I just made that up. I don't like what they did here.
Yeah.
I get iteration, but this is not a first. This is not a B. This is not a V1. This is like a beta. This is like a private beta they should have showed someone and gotten feedback on.
Yeah,
they
did need some feedback.
This isn't something they should have launched.
And today we're so negative.
It deserves it.
It does deserve it, I think. One last thing to sort of add to this equation is this is a little odd for an enterprise class service software,
right,
to bake in these 3 so tight. Meaning, if they were to have built this 3 years ago, would these have been the 3 that they chose? Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn.
Right.
What happens when the next one comes? Or the next one comes? Am I going to have 5, 6, 8 of these social profile things? What if, Quora blows up? Or Google Plus blows up, right? If Google Plus blows up to have hundreds of millions of users, is that going to be a little chiclet here? Am I going to have a Google Plus icon? Like, when does this stop?
Right.
Like, why did they choose these 3? And now these are in the core of the platform.
Right.
What if just Facebook goes away, like MySpace?
Right. Where's the MySpace connector?
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's the point. Is what if I understand right now it's like it's going full boat, but you've said to me before, well, Alta Vista was going full boat 10 years ago. There's no Google or what's Google?
Yahoo used to be the
right.
the
so why is this so? I'm like I'm doing a hand motion. It's so built in.
The amount of space between the picture, and I'm looking at a friend of the podcast, Mike Saldi. The chiclets are small enough, and the amount of space between that and to the end of the screen, you could put at least 40 more.
Yeah, you totally could.
So
it's just a matter of the choice to say we are super enterprise class,
right,
and we're building in these things that you can.
Right.
I mean, yeah,
well,
sure. You can turn them on. You can turn them off.
I want an API for it because I want them to come out with a Quora one. I want them to come out with a Foursquare one. I want them to come out with a Google Plus one. I mean, but again, none of that exists. There's no API. There's no building on it. There's no plug-in connector. Again, we've beaten this horse enough.
We have.
Listen, Salesforce, when you guys do something great, we will applaud and do it to the high. But when you fail, we're gonna let you know. So I think this was a fail, and I'm sorry to see it happen. But let's move on. Let's talk about things that aren't fails, like our CloudFocus App Pick of the Week.
Ooh.
Give me yours.
All right. So I'm gonna couch this by saying that I'm once again picking a product that I've never used.
Oh, I hate when you do this.
But I have done a little research on and have seen mentioned as a nice product, and it's called FormStack.
Okay.
FormStack is it's a tool for marketing folks to build web forms very easily.
I love marketing, folks.
Whether it's a form to collect data or a landing page for people to land on, like from different campaigns, and they integrate with a lot of web apps, including Salesforce.com, as well as MailChimp, ExactTarget, and some of the email marketing tools.
Yep.
So you can build a form and also collect payment and have your form submit data into a backend system like Salesforce. And from what I've seen of it, it looks like a really nice, easy way to do these types of forms, event registrations, tie them back to campaigns, have them pay for things, submit them into opportunities and payment records, doing surveys, things of that nature. Looks like a really nice, easy tool. You have a 14-day free trial. You can get started as soon as you want. They have 4 different plans. They range from $14 a month to $159 a month. And if the next time that we have a client that asks us for integrated event management and payment processing with Salesforce, FormStack is going to be one of the options that I am going to throw out there and research for use.
Cool. I actually had a pick, and then it went away. And then
What
I had
happened?
another pick. Well, I actually wanted to do a little reverse love. I was going to do a Red Kite pick.
Oh.
I was actually going to go pick something from one of their other products, but it's not released yet. So I feel silly talking about something that you really can't even download. So I'm just going to go for something that I've been using recently.
Yeah, what is this thing?
You're probably going to like this.
I might install this.
This is why. You know what? Everybody out there in the cloud listening to the podcast must know that my picks are really just to inform you and you only.
Me, Justin.
Yeah, because everybody else knows these things, but you
Right.
clearly are the one. You're always like, "Ooh, I don't know what that is." So anyway, this is a nice. This is a super nerdy, geeky, technical tool and Apple stuff. So if you're not any of those things, turn off your podcast right now. Okay, here for the rest of us.
Is this made by Apple?
This is. So this is it's called Airport Utility. It's for the iOS, so it works on your iPod. Hey, look at it. It's going to go download it right now.
I just grabbed my iPhone.
Here, you see it on the iPad right here.
All right, great.
It works. It's called Airport Utility, and it is what the one on the desktop does, which is you can control the Apple Airport devices. So whether it's Airport Express or the Airport Extreme, which are their network routing, they're very good devices. One that you can pack. There's tiny, and then one you can. I have multiple.
The
in my
Airport
house.
Extreme. Someone had asked me like, you have all these Apple things, right? I'm sitting at a MacBook Pro. I have my iPhone in my hand. I have an iPad. I have an Apple TV. And they said, what's your favorite Apple thing? And you know what I tell them? Airport Extreme.
Really?
Yeah. I say, I have an Airport Extreme. They're like, what is that? I'm like, it's their router and it's the best.
It is pretty
my
good.
internet is solid, awesome, and I can control a ton of stuff with it.
Well, now your favorite device in the world, now you can control from your Apple device. So you can go in and you can actually click on and control, reboot, reset up, and see what the status of all of them from your iOS
Now,
device.
is this gonna pick up? Because I'm sitting in our office where we
Yes.
have an Airport Express. Is this going to pick up our Airport Express here in the office because I'm on this Wi-Fi, or is it going to pick up my Airport Extreme at home because
Does that make any sense?
Well,
It'll
not
pick it up
really.
when you're at home.
When I'm at home.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the nice thing is you can use it. And I have one that's in, and if you have multiple, you can see them and you can control them. You can see what's
Yeah.
up and what's not.
The picture of theirs has a time capsule that looks like it's daisy chained to some other.
Right, and that's nice. So if you have time capsules, you can see them and see what's backed up and all sorts of stuff. So anyway, a great little device from Apple. It is free. Of course, you have to own about $500 worth of other technology to use this free app, but please use it. It's very good. I actually love it. All the time is the internet down, I just boot up this and I look, and then I sometimes reboot the router just from sitting on the iPad. Don't have to go to the computer. So yet another thing. Airport Utility by Apple for free, and that is it. Remember to go to blog.arkusinc.com and read all the blog posts, and all the podcasts are up there. Remember to follow Arkus Inc. on the Twitter. Apparently it's in social contacts. Jason M. Atwood, which is me on Twitter, and Just Edelstein on the Twitter there as well. We're on Facebook at /Arkus Inc. or facebook.com/Arkus Inc. Best thing you can do, as always, go to iTunes and subscribe there, and leave a nice review. We haven't gotten a review lately, so I'm making a call out. I'm calling you out, people.
Calling you out, fans.
If you like the podcast, please go leave a review up there. I don't think you even have to leave your real name, but 5 stars. Leave us a review. It'd be nice, and just to move the counter up. We appreciate it. But until next week, we'll be back. And until then, enjoy those cloudy days.